Well, tonight, Fox 17 News investigates a continuous danger here in Middle Tennessee and beyond, drink spiking.
Sexual Assault Center here in Nashville says last year, about 1 in 5 sexual assaults involved drugs. But survivors tell us they're hitting roadblocks, especially when it comes to getting things like a simple drug test.
Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin speaking with a survivor who hopes her fight for change in Massachusetts will spark change here and across the country.
It's a story we've been hearing over and over again in Middle Tennessee. A survivor suspects someone spiked their drink. They go to the hospital, they ask for a test. But due to hospital policies, several say they walk away without answers.
Over the years, Fox 17 News has highlighted several cases of drink spiking in Middle Tennessee. That's when someone secretly slips a drug into a person's drink, often Rohypnol, GHB, or Ketamine. But survivors are often left with more questions than answers.
I wanted answers. I wanted to get awareness of what was going on, and they just acted like they didn't care at all.
Gracie Carol is one of several Nashville survivors who say they asked for drug testing at a hospital back in 2023, but medical providers denied a test. Vanderbilt University Medical Center tells Fox 17 that it limits drug testing unless patients first report to police. At Nashville General Hospital, testing is up to the provider's discretion. Advocates like Catherine Barkley believe these tests should be readily available at hospitals.
I absolutely think that for peace of mind, it would be wonderful if these tests were more readily available and more easily given.
Fox 17 News looked to see if other states are facing the same battle. That's where we met Ella McDuff, a Massachusetts woman who says her drink was spiked in Boston in December of 2022.
We are not rare. We are just rarely believed.
Ella says she doesn't remember a single thing from that night. Her ex-boyfriend described Ella as agitated, where she was kicking and screaming.
And I was basically unconscious at the time, so my ex carried me under a bridge and called my mom in a panic, saying that he needed to get me to a hospital because he thought that I was dying.
Ella's mother, Terry McDuff, rushed them both to the ER. But what happened next still haunts Terry and Ella to this day.
We got into the emergency room and they put us in a private room, and the doctor immediately assessed her, and I said right away, I need a toxicology test. And he said, I see this all the time. She's just drunk. And I said, I promise you, I know my daughter. She's not drunk. I need a toxicology test. And he said, she just needs to sleep it off.
Terry says Ella drifted in and out of consciousness, helpless as no one would test her daughter.
It felt like I had no voice. It felt obviously she had no voice, and that they didn't care, to be honest.
Ella eventually woke up the next morning, confused, sedated, and restrained.
I didn't realize what happened, but I guess that I had a seizure and I was extremely agitated. So they had to give me a sedative to calm me down. And in order to do that, they also had to tie my hands and legs to the hospital bed.
Hours later, Ella landed in the ICU after developing serotonin syndrome. It's caused when too many drugs are in your system at once. But Ella says doctors wanted to test her too late. The Drug Enforcement Administration says many of these drugs leave the body quickly, within 12 to 72 hours.
So I would say, if I'm being completely honest, I didn't cope with me being drugged for over a year. It took me a very long time to process and understand that when you are drugged, it is not your fault. This is happening to you. Somebody is doing this to you, and you need to understand that.
That's why Ella is advocating for Bill 1537 in Massachusetts. The bill would in part create a task force that would be tasked with emergency care and testing at hospital facilities following a suspected illicit drink spiking incident, regardless of whether or not a sexual assault has occurred. Terry warns how dangerous these situations can be.
It was a freezing cold night. It was pouring rain, like the kind of rain that you can't see in front of you rain. And if she had walked outside that bar because she felt a little dizzy and turned the corner, she could have frozen to death. She could have passed out on the street.
Ella and Terry say their push for change comes from a painful reality and the belief that no other family should have to fight this hard just to be heard.
The director of Nashville's nightlife tells Fox 17 News there are ongoing conversations with hospitals, for expanded testing for those illicit drugs. Now, we also reached out to Tennessee state lawmakers about potential legislation here in the state. It does seem to be catching the eye of some. Of course, we will be following up. Reporting in downtown Nashville, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.